Arc System has announced a netcode rollback upgrade for Guilty Gear XRD. Rollback netcode is useful because it ensures input and frame accuracy regardless of a player's connection. While many familiar faces can be found in Guilty Gear XRD, their kits differ from those found in Guilty Gear Strive. XRD's mechanics are more brutal and difficult for newcomers to grasp. If you're new to Guilty Gear XRD or want to revisit it, here are the best 10 characters to play. First, Ramlethal Valentine. Ramlethal Valentine appears to be a boss from an old JRPG at a first impression. Massive floating swords flank her on either side, and she floats slightly off the ground herself. Ramlethal's bread and butter are her two swords, as one might anticipate from her outward look. Ramlethal is an excellent first-round pick due to her range values and screen control. Her standard attack consists of meaty swings. In most battles, she has neural control, starter from range. Perhaps the most compelling reason to select Ramlethal is her ability to play in the corners. Ramlethal, armed with her two swords, can become the undisputed powerhouse of any stage's corners. Ramlethal will send her swords forward as frighteningly fast projectiles if you use quarter circle forward slash and heavy slash. The swords stick into the wall and erupt in the corners, causing the opponent to absorb two different impacts. Enemies will be forced to turtle up in the corner or absorb sword blows. It'll be bad news for them because Ramlethal can chase her adversaries into corners and deliver punishing combinations that frequently result in wall breaks and tremendous damage. Ramlethal thrives in the corners, and if massive burst damage and wall breaches sound appealing, she is unquestionably the ideal choice. Moving on at number 2, Jam Corrado Berry. Jam Corrado Berry has long been a fan favorite. Her eccentric attitude complements her fast-paced and somewhat chaotic gameplay. She's the ultimate rushdown character in XRD, with tremendously rapid moves that allow you to pull off insane mix-ups. Jam can be tough to comprehend due to her quickness. Most of her moves barely last a few frames. While she is versatile, her kit would benefit from more variety. Jam should be the character you choose if you want to go all in. Following that at number 3, Kai Kiski. Without Kai Kiski, Guilty Gear would not be the same. Kai is the Ryu to Soul Bad Guy's Ken. As a result, Kai is a simple to understand character. Every game features starting characters, although they aren't necessarily playable at higher levels. Kai was more than an outlier in XRD. Playing Kai is considered dishonorable, according to a popular joke. As with most characters, knowing your matchups is essential for effective counterplay. Kai doesn't necessarily need that level of expertise. Dash and Vapor Thrust are Kai's bread and butter. Pulling these off consistently will pave the way for Oki timing and frame trapping. Next up at number 4, Saul Bad Guy. Saul is the protagonist and the face of Guilty Gear. These characters frequently fall under the stereotype of being good all-around starters. Saul defies this stereotype by being a good starting character and perhaps the best rushdown character in the game at launch. Saul specializes in close-range combination assaults. He prefers to be in his opponent's face at all times, and his moveset lends itself to aggressive playstyles. Saul compensates for his lack of projectiles and zoning with raw damage and cross-screen rushdown attacks. Saul has a variety of attacks that put him in close quarters. Night Raid Vortex, a quarter circle backslash attack, may be his greatest. Saul is pushed forward somewhat by the strike, which concludes with a brief jab that delivers damage. The main advantage of this attack is that it can be charged and held down. Saul will zip across the screen and jab the opponent, frequently leading to a full combo if not blocked. The attack alters Saul's hitbox sufficiently for him to avoid certain missiles while in the Night Raid Vortex. No opponent is immune from Saul's rushing assaults, and jumping all the time won't help because the fighter has solid overhead choices and decent air attacks. If an opponent believes turtling will save them, they will almost certainly be met with Saul's tough command grab, which crosses up and causes massive damage. Told Saul is an excellent pick for players who want to understand the game's mechanics while being active and constantly pushing the offense. Moving on at number 5, Baiken. Baiken is unquestionably one of Guilty Gear's most popular characters. Baiken has come a long way since her first debut in Guilty Gear as a hidden boss, to her cameo appearances in Samurai Showdown and King of Fighters. She was also XRD's final DLC character. Baiken has a stance parry and an air parry, and her stance parry alone provides her with 6 follow-ups. She can counter with a parry if you properly predict how the opponent will strike. Characters must play around a great Baiken, but well-timed grabs will shut her down. Following Following that at number 6, Mei. Every fighting game seems to have that one character who lives in every player's nightmares. Perhaps it's due to their irritating voice lines, jailing attacks, or they're unpleasant to play against. Thanks to her unique kit and attacks, a good Mei player can be all these things. Like many other characters in Guilty Gear Strive, Mei relies on underwater life and an enormous boat anchor for most of her attacks. Mei is a total nightmare on any screen, and her frame data makes her feel oppressive in combat. Mei's most famous and overused assault has her riding across the screen on the back of a dolphin. When the attack is blocked, Mei ends up in positive frames. Mei is a spam-heavy character that could be ideal for a beginner player wanting to win. Mei can summon a seal to smash a ball across the screen while she isn't floating about on a dolphin. Mei's aquatic aid does not stop there. Her projectile moves slowly because it's a summon rather than a standard fireball. But don't take this negatively. Mei can start moving while the seal's animation is playing. This allows her to move forward during the animation of her missile, making it already difficult to deal with sailors more so. Mei can fully dominate a match, especially when her opponent is unfamiliar with her matchup. Her quick attacks and powerful specials make her an excellent initial choice for a beginner player. On top of that, her irritating voice and mocking lines will undoubtedly annoy the opponent, even if her overwhelming offense does not. Next up at number 7, Potemkin. Those who enjoy enormous figures with even bigger arms will fall head over heels for Potemkin, the metal-clad powerhouse grappler. The enormous militaristic guard strikes with incredible speed and overwhelming force thanks to his super armor-infused command dash. Potemkin punishes his opponents, effortlessly shattering them when they make blunders. Beginners who learn his inputs can decimate an opponent with a series of gap-closing strikes, powerful hits, and bone-crushing grabs. His Potemkin Buster command grab is quick, unblockable, and deadly to most characters. Those hit by a heavenly Potemkin Buster are met with a magnificent display of rocket-infused vigor that results in 3/4 of their health bar disappearing. Potemkin's gap-closing Mega Fist move, which deals significant damage if it connects, will make it difficult for players to avoid him. Zoners that retreat to the corners are vulnerable to his screen-length Hammerfall charge assault, which is rendered much more unavoidable by a super armor infusion. Potemkin is even more dangerous since he can push players into corners and keep them there. His gigantic high barrier will defend him as he closes large gaps, allowing him to exert pressure on characters of all kinds. Finally at number 8, Axel Low. Axel Low is excellent for players seeking a little British flair and some seriously scary range values. In Strive, the Guilty Gear bad boy returns with some stunning skills capable of zoning out opponents and rattling off some wild combos. Axel is a master zoner, allowing skilled players to effortlessly influence the game by keeping hard hitters out of range and chipping away at technical fighters with his amazing speed and fluid mobility. Because of the freewheeling nature of his chain sickles, it can be difficult to predict his highs and lows at times. Beginners can easily keep other players guessing while applying plenty of pressure. Axel's tremendous range makes him such a nightmare for opposing competitors. This, combined with his ability to pressure opponents, explains why he can swiftly control a fight. His sickle flash into soaring chain strike spans the entire screen, and those looking to lengthen a combo can shift sickle flash into spinning chain strike, which will pull opponents towards Axel when held, letting him unleash a barrage of strikes. Those who can properly predict Axel's maneuvers risk being caught off guard by his punishing command grab. His Winter Mantis charge move spans the full screen and is unblockable, forcing players to hop over it to escape being captured. All of this is topped off by his One Vision, which includes a 5-second setup that totally stops time for the opponent, allowing Axel to defend against an impending barrage or go on the attack. Well, that marks the end of our video for today. We hope you enjoyed it. On your way out, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Thanks for watching.